And there we are, folks. We are live. Another edition of TigerBait Live. Got a lot to talk about. Big LSU football game versus Tennessee. 11 a.m. Saturday morning. And you better get up early and get in your vehicle and get on your way so you don't get stuck in traffic. 35 days until the start of LSU men's basketball. And tomorrow afternoon, we have the start of LSU fall baseball. So it never stops. A lot of activity out at LSU. And we're going to be covering all of it for you at TigerBait. And, of course, the show brought to you each and every week by the fine folks over at Pride Roofing. Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. And glad to have my cohort, Buddy Songy, in the studio with me again today.
Boy, I tell you what, I think if one of the Tennessee Tigers or one of the guys said, Buddy wouldn't even dap Mike because he had such a big case of the RA. Hey, folks, this is an exciting time. You know, this is why you're a fan of LSU and Tennessee. This is why you come to LSU. This is why you follow recruiting. And we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about all three levels, the coaches, Josh Heupel and Brian Kelly, the players, LSU not playing with the confidence that Tennessee has, and the fans. They are part of this equation Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon. And they have got to get in there, and you and I talked about it on the show today. You cannot take a chance that BRPD and LSU PD are going to have their act together. So if you're going to get in the car at 9:30 or 10, you're playing Russian roulette. No pun intended.
I tell you what.
But they got to get there, Mike, and they got to be a factor because LSU has started slow. They can't afford to get down 10, 14 points to Tennessee with a late arriving crowd. Oh, by the way, 11:07 actual kick. So you have a little window, but usually, what is it, 11:30 before it's filled?
Did you see he's doing color?
Yeah. What?
Orlovsky.
Oh, yeah. Look, Todd McShay is also going to be involved, and we'll see. But look, folks, this is a big one, and we're going to really enjoy interacting tonight because I think you and I both have a lot of things that we want to say, and we want to hear what people have to say.
Well, you know, I think one of the things that everybody's focused on all week long is wide receivers and quarterbacks and starting slow and the vertical passing game and John Emery putting the ball on the ground. And we can talk about all that tonight. But I tell you what, I think probably could be the biggest key of the game of all is Matt House's defense. And while you wait for that offense to get their act together I think there's a big challenge on the defensive side of the ball to have a solution and to come up with a game plan on how to defend that Tennessee offense because, they want to get it moving quick. They want to get it out quick. They've got receivers that can yards after the catch. Obviously LSU had some problems at Auburn with some busted coverage, and Sage Ryan took his lumps. But I'm going to be curious to see what the fixes are because I think this is the kind of challenge that Matt House is looking forward to.
Matt House, by the way, making 1.9 a year. Mike Denbrock, the OC on the other side, making 1.4. And I think that you've seen a little bit of difference. I think most people have really been impressed with Matt House and the adjustments that he made. Look, the Honey Badger and all the guys that worked with him at Kansas City told everybody, you're going to love this guy. And the fact that he had D.C. experience at Kentucky and other places made it a win-win situation. Mike, I like it when you hear the coach telling the fan base, we showed one defense at the line of scrimmage, the ball is snapped, and we go into another. It's called disguising, and that is going to be a big part. Can you trick Hendon Hooker, who, by the way, hasn't thrown an interception this year, and neither has Jaden Daniels, and, by the way, has run for 3 touchdowns, and so has Jaden Daniels. So
I think that streak ends this weekend for somebody.
Well, I think both of them could throw INTs.
Yeah.
And, but the whole point is that Matt House is going to make great adjustments. I think it's like 14 second half possessions they haven't allowed. Only 3 points in the second half to Mississippi State shut out Auburn. So that's one part of it. But I got to tell you, folks, and I don't want to be a horse's patut tonight, but LSU's got to call better plays on offense. And whoever the hell the script in the first 15 plays, I'm not impressed.
No. If you're going to do that, those first 15, then if you win the toss, you elect to receive in the second half. Don't take the ball.
Well, I'm just saying
That's a wasted possession.
They script the first 15, and look, we all watch a lot of football. I can't tell you the number of times my phone was blowing up. Is Cam Cameron in the press box at Auburn? They were running it right up the gut. You and I have had this discussion. I certainly agree with Mr. Mike Scarborough. If LSU has it 15 possessions on a first down, you said you'd want to throw it 10 or 11 of the 15. I agree with that. By the way, remember when Nick Saban and LSU played the Mulligan game in the Superdome and Alabama shut out LSU, ill-fated 21-0? Nick Saban threw the ball with A.J. McCarron 20 freaking times on first down, and Les was running the same J.J. stuff right up the gut. So I think Denbrock's got to call better plays. I think Jaden Daniels has got to carry himself and get the ball to the playmakers. I think the guys have got to hold on to the football, and it's everybody. You got to get better on offense.
Word on that.
Or you're not going to win this game.
You referenced that game. The several high school coaches told me a month after that game that Burton Burns was visiting high schools, and he said that they were, as a staff, they were shocked that A.J. McCarron completed all those balls that he did.
I know, and the Honey Badger and Mo Claiborne and all those studs were on that defense. So,
yeah.
But the point of it is, Mike, nobody was expecting Saban to throw on first down, and Denbrock has got to get some confidence with Jaden Daniels on the dink and dunk, and I think this weekend is the opportunity. Let's see all the box of chocolates. We don't need to see just a few. I think, and you talked about slowing the game down.
And there's some field position in the equation.
There's no doubt.
So, you can't have any boneheaded, calling for a fair catch on the 8-yard line.
Right.
So, that's you can see where that's a catch-22 for Denbrock, where he's like, okay, I've got a quarterback who's doing everything in his power to not throw an interception. All right, and he's certainly not. He's going to be super conservative with himself if he's on his own 16-yard line. And so maybe in his mind he's thinking, I'm better off just running the ball because I've got a better chance of getting some yards out of a play than Jaden, looping a rainbow to the sideline to get rid of it.
Yeah, field position definitely has affected LSU. They've had a lot of bad field position, which is why they've been behind. But we've got some other things to talk about.
Yeah, guys, as always, you guys have been phenomenal helping us out every week. If you enjoy the show, hit that like button, and that really helps us with the YouTube algorithm, like I tell y'all each and every week. And, again, our YouTube channel is blowing and going. We're heading to 15,000. We just hit 14,000 a few weeks ago. We're heading to 15,000 YouTube subscribers. But I still see where a lot of guys are watching the show, and ladies. Maybe you're not registered yet. Register for YouTube. Go ahead and register. It's free. And then hit the subscribe button, notification bell. We're loading our YouTube channel up with lots of content. Of course, all of it's free. And if you enjoy the channel, subscribe, notification bell, and hit that like button. Trey Baton right out the chute with a super chat. He says, good evening, Mike and Buddy. If grit isn't the most impressive aspect of this team, second half adjustments with this staff is got to be. It goes unsaid.
And, that's really the trait of a good team, when you win and you don't play your best. Mike and Trey, would you agree that LSU has not played a complete, sound, fundamental game of 60 minutes where you said, yes? Brian Kelly said, yes, guys, that's what we want. And I don't know if you're going to have to play 60, but you got to admit, Florida State, Mississippi State, Auburn, there have all been stretches and halves where they just weren't getting it done. I would love to see LSU play a complete game. And we know offense, defense, and special teams. This is week 6, okay? Not knowing where to line up, whether you're on the line of scrimmage or a step back, that's not good enough anymore.
Thanks for the super chat, Aaron Lang. Trey Baton. Aaron Lang says, I enjoy the show, guys. For some reason, I feel like LSU is going to win Saturday. If Jaden can let it fly and that defense can play like it has shown it can, good things can happen. Aaron, I've had a gut feeling about this too. because we've seen it over and over the years where whether it's an entire team debacle and they look like crap one week. Was reminded of the Georgia game in 2018 when no one thought they could win that game. There's been some Florida games where they've coming off a loss and gotten big wins. Orgeron did that. I just have a feeling that the offense, I'm not going to say they're all of a sudden going to look like the 2019 LSU offense. I don't believe that. But I have a feeling there could be some things that you're going to be like, where's this? Is there a moment early on where you're saying, where's this team been all season? And so we've seen LSU do that, coming off wins where everybody's down on them. You're an underdog at home. Offense stinks. Jaden's not the guy. Nuss bus. All that stuff all over social media. And so I've had a gut feeling like Aaron has had, but am I willing to stick my neck out and pick it? I don't know.
Well, look, Aaron, I think that a lot of people, and PFM, who's a great listener, and we want to wish him a quick little recovery on his deal. But he, of course, did business with us over at Pride Roofing and has told everybody about it and got a lot of people. Trust me, folks, we just want to reiterate again, Mike and Alex, top-notch people. This is not just a name. They do take great pride in the way they handle business. And I know that, Mike, everybody wants to take great pride if you see LSU put that game together. And I got to ask you right out of the gate here now, how good do you think this Tennessee team really is, in your opinion?
Say it again.
How good is this Tennessee team coming in at 11 o'clock Saturday?
Well, what do you think of their schedule? I mean,
Well,
they obviously they beat Florida.
They play Alabama. So the next 2 weeks, the Volunteer fans, oh, by the way, I'm hearing 8,000 to 10,000 orange-clad fans are coming in here. Not the Georgia number when they had almost 20 in 18, but this sets up just like Saban. In fact, Jacques had it on the Twitter. Saban and all the people, they beat Tennessee in overtime, and the goalpost came down. They did it again with Mississippi State in overtime. Goalpost came down. LSU fans have passed the goalpost.
Are you seeing anything from this Tennessee team? I don't know if you've seen them more than I have. That is anything different than what you saw UCF, what they were running?
Well, I think Kendon Hooker is a really good quarterback, and they've got some skilled people. They got the kid Brew McCoy from USC, Cedric Tillman. They've got a bunch of skilled people. They go so fast, and I know House is going to have them ready. But the thing that gives everybody hope is that their secondary eats nothing but Swiss cheese. I mean, they're 125 out of 131 in major conference.
But this is the deal where all of a sudden they look great because of LSU's offense.
Well, no, but I'm saying they're going to score, but they're going to give up some scores, which is why I think you got to go toe-to-toe with them this Saturday morning.
Trucking with Casper. Hey, Mike and Buddy, recruiting updates, go Tigers. Of course, this weekend, because of the 11 a.m. kickoff, we're going to see what the unofficial tally ends up being as far as how many kids. A lot of high school football programs have watched film on Saturday mornings. I know Madison Prep does yoga. A lot of them have different things that they do. Some of them even lift weights on Saturdays, believe it or not. But, yeah, one official visitor this weekend, Tosilia Kana from Sky Ridge High School, Lehigh, Utah, edge rusher, Texas A&M, Oklahoma also involved with him. Doesn't do a ton of interviews. High 4-star edge rusher. And Debo Atkins is going to be there. You got the Mabry, the quarterback that came to camp in June at the time, did not have a committable offer. He told Preston this morning that offer is now committable. And Walt Claire Flynn is going to be there this weekend. So that's just a smattering of some of the guys working on a more complete list from Grayson, Georgia. There's going to be some Georgia kids in. So, and I think you'll have the usual group there that come in. I'm sure we'll see Caleb Jackson and those types all throughout the stadium.
Well, and look, folks, even the Tennessee fans are upset with the start at 11 o'clock.
Thank you, Trucking.
I know a lot of them have stayed in New Orleans. You know, if you're going to play at 6 or 6:30 or 7, and you can wake up, eat breakfast, eat you some beignets, come on over, take your time, enjoy tailgating. Man, if you're in New Orleans and you're coming to 11 o'clock game, you got to wake up early.
I'm telling you, folks.
7:30, need to leave?
I think there's a lot of y'all that go make your entrance into the LSU campus different than I do. But I can tell you the way I go, the amount of law enforcement helping direct traffic has been a quarter of what it normally is in years past. And so 11 a.m. kickoff, I don't know, do you leave at 5, 6, 7? You better not leave at 9 thinking you're going to get there on time.
And, of course, we know screwdrivers and Bloody Marys and Manda sausage
I don't care.
The breakfast. I mean, look, you can get out there, and if you don't like the 11 o'clock, we understand. But my point is that it's not the most ideal situation when you're bringing in recruits. You want to have Ole Miss at 2:30 or 6. You're going to have Alabama probably at 2:30 or later. So this, to me, doesn't look like a marquee bringing the guys in game because of the 11 o'clock start. Would you agree?
Yeah. I'm all for kickoffs only being the earliest is 5. I like the 5.
Yeah.
I dig the 5. That's a selfish deal because we get our work done and usually surely about 10, 11? But 5, 6, 7. I don't like the 8s either. So no 11s, no 2:30s, but you'll take a 2:30. But, how's that going to work out when CBS goes away? What are those game times going to look like?
Yeah.
Is it necessarily a 2:30 that's sandwiched in there? All right, guys, let me scroll up and get to a bunch of your comments. Man, we're already at 17 minutes. We've been jibber-jabbing big time.
Sorry. It's
Hey.
me. I apologize.
No, it's time's flying. Got a big group in here.
I'm excited, Mike.
Yep,
I
yep.
got the Pointer Sisters queued up.
Let's see. 256 Moxley. He says Tennessee 34, LSU 20. All right. Nurse Court, I think, is arguing with him.
By the way, I have to apologize to all the female watchers and listeners and viewers. I wanted to bring the baseball shirt, Chicks Dig the Long Ball. And we know that shirt so many when LSU broke the record with 188 home runs in that one year, that storied year. But, Mike, I want to see Mike Denbrough be a sluggo-ho. Slant, up and go, boom. Chris Hilton was underthrown. You know with that big bomb that he caught in the bowl game? Look, 17 hadn't gotten many reps. You got to send him deep. Brian Thomas Jr., get him an opportunity to run with the football afterwards. 7, 8, 10. I just want to see wide receivers get a little more preferential targets than frickin' 86 and 87. I'm sorry.
James Sells, Mike, this past weekend versus Auburn, kicking off was a good thing because we scored before half in first possession and third. You on to something. Well, didn't Auburn won the toss, didn't they? And they elected to receive.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They did get the ball first.
Yep.
But Harsin had a major faux pas, Mike. He called timeout on the second and third down with LSU. They picked it up and they ended up getting the
PFM sent a super chat earlier, and there it is. I found it.
Okay.
Buddy, do chicks dig the long ball? There you go. So you addressed it before I got to it.
Well, look, whether it's Hilton or Malik Neighbors or Booty, now I hate to bring this up every week. Do you think he's being a diva and a head case, or do you think because 7 can be really good when he's right and you get him to football, should be a major part of the game plan?
Okay, here's the thing. Is his 40 time what it used to be? I don't know. Is his 100 meters time what it used to be? I don't know. Does he cut as well as he used to be? I don't know. Some guys, it takes over a year to get where they used to be. Is he that guy? I don't know. Is there a chance that of all the receivers, I think they're all disgruntled.
They are. That's why they had a meeting.
But he's the only one that wears it on his sleeve and has the smells bad look.
Well, he just became a father, and he's got 10 catches.
I mean, Brian.
for 100 yards.
I've been knowing Brian Thomas for 3 years. He's pretty even keeled. Chris Hilton's a shy guy.
Malik Neighbors wants the football.
Yeah, but he's been getting it a good bit, a lot more than
He's a
Kayshon.
receiver right now.
Right. So, yeah, I think Kayshon he can't. He wears it. You can read his face and it tells the whole story. The other ones are better at playing poker. I don't know, but believe me, they're all upset.
But John
and then when they
Emery-
see the freshman tight end getting all the targets,
and look, that's all we're saying. But John Emery got into the end zone. We talked about it last week, and he was going to be better. You saw his enthusiasm as he strutted in the end zone. He's got to get better every week because you've got 3 running backs, and not to be disrespectful, watch a lot of college football. LSU hadn't had a difference maker at running back since Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's why I asked you about Trey Holly and Caleb. And you've got to have 4 guys, and everybody has 3 or 4. But seriously, you got to admit this is pretty thin in the running back compartment, and they will get that fixed in the coming years. But man, everybody's got 2 or 3 running backs, and of course now the other thing, Bryce Young getting hurt, Jalen Milroe, we good backup at quarterback.
we always believe that years in recruiting 2 running backs is your max. Is there a case to be made that this should be a 3 running back year? Whether it's 2 high school kids and a transfer kid, is there a case to be made that this should be a 3 running back class?
I'll tell you the guy who I really wish they would have gotten, and they still might go after him, is Logan Diggs at Notre Dame. He is a big man.
The LSU was a factor there, I can tell you.
I mean, but I watched him a few times with Notre Dame.
There was some scuttlebutt, believe
But
me.
Noah Kane is leaving after this year. And Armani Goodwin, we don't know when he's going to be back with the hammy, and he's had a history of hammies. Josh Williams, bless his heart and soul, he's playing his butt off. But I mean, he was a walk-on. Not to denigrate him because he's worth the scholarship and deserves it. But I'm saying, Emery was a 5-star, and the night Mike was filming him, he had a few fumbles,
4.
and that's something that he can't do anymore.
It's never left him.
Although Anthony Bradford went the wrong way, which is why he got hit the way he did, but you gotta stop the low IQ football, and the guys have got to be more focused. This is not on the coaches. They can put them in a position. They've got to play with more confidence in the presence.
Texas Tiger with a big super chat. Thank you, Texas Tiger, one of our best subscribers on TigerBait, been with us forever. And he sends us a $19.99 super chat and says he's in the house. Thank you, Texas Tiger, big time. Of course, we're here each and every week thanks to our buddies over at Pride Roofing. Let's go ahead and hear from Mike and Alex.
Hi, I'm Michael.
I'm Alex.
At Pride Roofing, we handle commercial and residential work.
TPO, shingle, and metal inventory. We got it.
Property still in disarray from the recent hurricanes and hailstorms. Insurance claims?
No problem. But you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Call 855-PRIDE-16. Se habla español.
And there you go. Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez, nobody better in the roofing business than those guys over at Pride Roofing, right there in Albany, Louisiana. Swing by their shop right there on Florida Boulevard. See their operation. You got the metal company right across the street. They're blowing and going. And proud to see what those 2 guys are building. Call them 855-PRIDE-16. And they're running that promo, and more people are jumping on it. Get your roof inspected, free roof inspection. And if you tell them you heard about them on TigerBait, they're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium for the next year. That's a $99 value. You cannot beat it, and they're paying for it. So anywhere, if you need any roofing, whether it's residential or commercial, all the way to Orange, Texas, and all the way to Mobile, Alabama, South Mississippi, all the way up to Jackson, Mississippi. They've got you covered. Of course, real big on the North Shore, getting huge here in Baton Rouge, and expanding big time in Lafayette as well.
Look, with the acquisition of Crown Metals, this has really changed the whole roofing business. And I love the way Mike and Alex and everybody involved. We can't leave out Tammy and Yessie and all the great staff that they have, but they put a lot of.
Happy birthday, Tammy. Yesterday was
Hey,
her birthday.
happy birthday, Tammy. She is a sweetheart, and obviously Mike's a hell of a recruiter. We know that. Well, Alex is too. But look, you see the pictures, you see the things that they do. They're not sitting here going to Vegas or the yacht or whatever. They put all of that stuff back in, constantly upgrading what they can deliver to you. They will sharpen the pencil. They're great people to deal with, and they do take pride about the roof over your head. More important or just as important as the one over
I
there.
talked to him the other day. He told me about 3 more trucks.
Yeah.
There's roofing companies out there. You're like, where's the gear? Where's the trucks? Where's the stock of shingles? Where's your machinery? Nobody else has got it.
Yeah.
So, and of
You
course,
will not be disappointed.
Mike Faraday, an LSU grad, Broadmoor High grad. No better people, and I've been knowing them my whole life.
And his brother was a darn good fullback at LSU.
Absolutely. He played in the 87 Hall of Fame Bowl.
He sure did.
All right. Trucking with Casper has another super chat. Let me go down there and find it. He says, I'm going to be on Kayshawn's side until JD shows me he can attack defenses. That running almost every snap will not work against the good teams. He will get smacked. I agree with you, Trucking with Casper, and thanks again for the super chat. Look, I'll say this about Jaden. He's tough. He's taking the hits. He gets back up. I know his knee got banged the other night, and he still wanted to go in. But they've got to get that passing game going. They need more intermediate, more deep balls. Receivers need to help him. They need to get open. They need to get separation. They need to catch the tough pass. There's a lot of passes that, that receivers in the past would have caught at LSU. And there you go.
All right, I'm just going to go on just a quick diatribe, but John Emery should run at least 1 or 2 wheel routes every game. Now, he came a little early and launched before he crossed the goal line, but you've got to let him get an opportunity to get in your flow. You've got to start catching the ball and throwing him some balls, but on the wheel route, at least 1 or 2 times. I'm watching a lot of games, college Saturday and pro Sunday. If they want to get the ball to somebody out on the flank, you put the tight end in the slot. He goes and blocks the corner, and you throw it to 7. You throw it to 8. You throw it to 11, and let them catch it and make a play in space. I don't see enough of that. And then you get into Jaden Daniels, because I got to ask you and bring this to
Is there any criticism to be levied at the routes that they're running?
The plays, you got to get rid of it quickly. We all know when he goes back there and he's looking like this, that's not his forte. But he can catch it and throw it in space. You can also burn the Tennessee defense. Their secondary gave a ton of yardage up to Anthony Richardson. But here's the question I got to bring to the table, because it's been on the show for 3 days, and I asked you about it. Are you losing confidence with Jaden Daniels, and do you think that Nuss deserves a look during the game if he can be more damn focused than he was last Saturday?
It wasn't until last weekend that it started crossing my mind. It's time to put Nuss in. But even then, like I told you today, and I said the same thing with yesterday. Even then, I was like, but let's see after one more series. It's still, he's not a finished product either.
No.
And so, then you lose now Nuss can get, he can move as well, but not like Jaden.
No. Not
So,
close.
I don't know. There's a whole lot of, you're giving up one thing and getting a whole other basket of you don't know what you're getting.
Hey, I don't think Mike and I could say enough about how much we appreciate all you guys and ladies out there listening and interacting. But as we were talking about Nussmeier, there was this guy called the Black Dog, and he was calling us every dog name in the book. You guys don't know what the hell you talking about. Nussmeier ought to be the guy, this, and this.
He was a Lane Kiffin guy, too.
He was a Lane Kiffin guy. But the point of it is that Nuss is going to have to play this year. You know why? Because quarterbacks are dropping every week. Max Johnson got beat up. Bryce Young got beat up. if you keep running him, and you know you have to because he's a big part of the offense, he's going to get dinged, and so Nussmeier's got to be ready, which is why I asked you about Walker Howard. I know you want to plan on redshirting him, but he's got to be ready just in case you get a serious injury to Jaden. Then you got to have both those guys ready.
All right, and that's why I don't want to see him any of those. He's got 3 times left. I don't want to see any of these 4 minutes getting put in just to hand off, because that you don't want to burn number 2 for that. Hold on to him in case something, Nussmeier gets thrown into duty, and then, knock on wood, something bad happened to him, and then you're gonna need Walker. You want to have those games in your holster ready to go. Bruce Steele with a super chat. Thank you, Bruce. Best needs to be the one coming out of the backfield running swings and wheels on third down like Deebo Samuels.
See, that's what we're talking about, Mike. That's the one thing. And listen, everybody always talks about fit. Right now, Mike Denbrock, and let's talk about Brian Kelly, because they're tied by the hip, but they've been a square peg in a round hole. They keep jamming. We're going to throw to the tight end. They're going to be appreciably better at tight end next year. But this year, you got more talented wide receivers. How about 2 on one side, without even a tight end, 10 personnel, and you start opening up, then you can run the football. I just think you got to be a little more aggressive. If you play and call plays like you did against Auburn, I just don't see him winning.
All right, let me thanks for the super chat, Bruce, big time. Let me scroll down.
Garrett Dellinger back this week, supposedly, folks. Got a screw in the.
I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of brace they got on him.
Remember some of those big old casts they wear sometimes, but Coach Kelly did say they expect him to be back. We don't have anything, but are you hearing on anything on Ronnie Goodwin?
I have not.
Yeah, I have not heard any positive on him being back.
We'll get that tomorrow night.
Seven Banks is okay, but he's out.
It's going to be a busy day tomorrow. We got LSU baseball. We get Jay Johnson, player interviews, get practice, which is open to the public. And then we get, about 5:30, 6 o'clock? We get BK, and then BK's got his coach's show.
Yeah. And I think Matt McMahon and Kim Mulkey doing some stuff too.
Yep. What is that, Friday night? That's Friday night.
Yeah.
I love that those two are getting together and doing stuff. That's awesome. But what is this saying now? I've been seeing a lot of people on social media saying boot up. They're not using boot up anymore. Is he going to have a saying? What's McMahon saying? Has anybody got one yet?
He has really kind of been out of the spotlight, and I will tell you that I said it last week, Mike. The P. Marriage Assembly Center is going to be rocking from November. Women's, men's basketball, and gymnastics is going to be through the roof this year. I really believe that.
Trucking with Casper, man, with another super chat. I like Jaden Daniels' toughness, but it won't win the big games. To win the SEC, you have to throw the ball and you have to take shots.
Yeah, I'm all for the shots. Mike, to show you the luck that...
I think that's kind of the prevailing opinion, what he's saying. Everybody's saying similar. Just what you said.
But here's the thing. This is a bad break. Remember we were talking about he needs to get down and slide? And, of course...
I think he's been doing that.
I know, but the turf, the way the foot, the slide... Hey, man, if you got to go head first like a baseball player and slide... But
I think if he's going to get hit, it's because the pocket collapses and, something like that happens to him.
I got to say this one other thing. I think it was a travesty last weekend when Seven Banks got called for targeting and Robbie Ashford targeted Greg Brooks and hit helmet to helmet, and they didn't even think about that calling. But for those of you who prayed for Seven Banks, I know everybody that's involved with LSU. That was a scary situation, puts a real damper. Thank the good Lord, the young man's going to be fine. We don't know if he's back in 5 or 6 weeks, but he's going to be back. A similar
How quick?
injury.
When's Major going to be back?
Major Burns probably a week or two before him, but he's still 4 weeks away or something like that.
Yep. All right, guys, it's that time of night. I enjoy this part of it just like I do with our buddies over at Pride. But if you're thinking about a new home, refinancing your current mortgage but haven't found a lender you can trust, let me tell you about Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial right here in Baton Rouge. Dear friend of mine, someone that many of my friends have used for their mortgage needs over and over. Her knowledge and over 25 years of experience in the mortgage industry is unsurpassed. She offers a wide range of knowledge of home loan products, whether you're a first-time home buyer, ready to buy a new home, or you just want to explore your refinance options. Tony can guide you through your next mortgage experience. You can feel confident you're making the best financial decision with Tony as your guide. Not only is Tony a huge LSU fan, but Assurance Financial is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Call Tony today, 225-239-7150. Again, that's 225-239-7150. And tell her you heard about her from TigerBait.com. Please tell her that. NMLS number 104765, Equal Housing Opportunity 70876. And she's the best in the business. She's licensed in many states in the South. She's not just relegated to the Baton Rouge area. Call her up. Tell her you heard about her on TigerBait. And you need her now more than ever. Interest rates are escalating. She's going to get you closed. She's going to get your closing date in a hurry. She's going to help track down all that material you need to get your mortgage done. Any pieces of paper for this or that. Anybody who's ever financed a home or refinanced know what I'm talking about. And you need someone with her expertise right now.
Super classy lady. Of course, you can hear their radio spots on the LSU broadcast. They are a corporate sponsor for the Games Insurance Company. Dots the I's, crosses the T's. Everybody we talk to, they're going over there. Very comfortable. You know, you go in there and you're kind of nervous about this and that, like you talked about when you refinance it, all that stuff. She just makes you feel comfortable. And that's what's so important, because you want to do business with people, A, that know what they're doing, but B, that they're likable. And
Absolutely.
she checks all those boxes.
Absolutely. Paul Eskine, why didn't MD call the Jet to 7 again? Denbrock. Coach the penalty with Williams and run it again.
What do you say now? I'm sorry.
Why didn't Denbrock call the Jet to 7 again?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, PFM and I are kind of thinking on the same thing. Now, look, there's a new rule in college football. You cannot block below the waist outside the tackle boxes. And Josh Williams was probably told that in camp, but this is the first year it's been implemented. So he goes and he cuts low, and it's a 15-yard penalty. This is the play where Kayshawn leaped over somebody and picked up about 15 to 16 yards. Didn't ever come back to it. I don't blame him for having a red ass. Okay? He's a junior. He's a daddy. And guess what? He's got a future if he can get it together and find it. It's the it factor. Whenever you get injured, players will tell me this, man, bro, I didn't know if I was ever going to get it back. And that's what that young man is thinking right now. And I'm not saying it's an individual, because you can't go beat a
Brian Kelly gave you some insight as to what's going on there Monday.
Yeah.
You can read, you can see what's going on when he starts. When it says, you know, what do you got to do with Butte, and he starts saying, you know what, whether he has this many receptions or that, he's still going to be a top draft pick, and so that right there, when he's telling the public, is exactly what he's having to talk to Butte about.
Sure.
And so, but Butte's worried that people are going to be questioning whether he's still got it. You know, like I just did 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know, what's this? Is his 40 time still 4.4? Whatever. Is his 100 meters still 10.5? You know, he was a 100 meter champion, 2 years in a row, or right up there in the state, sophomore, junior years. You know, so a lot of people are asking that.
If you were Butte and I was Mason Taylor, you think we'd be doing a show together?
Well, I don't think he's mad at him.
My point is,
But I would love to be a fly on the wall when Jaden Daniels is over his shoulder on the sideline. And, you know, what's that conversation?
well, but Paul makes a great point. The damn play worked and it never come back to it. John Emery, the wheel route works. You've got to be a little more aggressive, imaginative. And this is the problem, Mike. You just don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to be on. If you saw it in Auburn, everything he was throwing was high. And so you got to get him locked in. By the way, do you think playing in the morning, I've heard some player interviews, I think most of them are kind of excited. You got to eat at 7 o'clock in the morning, but still.
Do you think that is a situation where it's the guys, the people over a certain age that remember the years when LSU was awful and they played a lot of games at 11 and lost a good many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's still there. Whereas your millennial and your Z has only seen nothing but winning at 11 in the morning.
8-0 since 2000.
And so Tennessee's got to get up early. They got to fly in Friday afternoon. They get a walk through in the stadium Friday afternoon. Be in a crazy place, wake up early, you know. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm just saying, the players that I've listened to with different interviews and shows, they are kind of excited about the fact that they're going to have a Saturday night eating a burger and
Well, that's where I'm at.
and being with their girlfriend. So look, what I'm saying to you is the team's got to be ready, and they cannot start slow. The fans have got to be ready. They've got to do a better job of scripting their first 15 plays. And like Skip Bertman used to say, you've got to visualize that you're going to beat their ass on Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon. Georgia Southern came in here and said, gotta, G-A-T-A, and that means get after that butt. Put the A word. I don't know what I can say on this network.
Well, you've already said it a few times.
But you got, no, seriously, have you seen LSU playing physical where they're acting like I'm bad and I'm going to be up your grill all day long? They've got to bring it and want it, and so do the fans.
Okay.
They've got to outplay Tennessee, because guess what they do? They yap.
Guys, hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. Please. LSU wins this game, pulls the upset.
I like it.
Okay, I'm asking you, what does it mean to the Brian Kelly era? Marquee win, first substantial win. Of course, you can argue, regardless of the situation Auburn's in, anytime you go on the road in the SEC and win, I mean that was a nice win, particularly the way they got it done. But what does this game mean?
Man, this means Uncle Mo is going to get on your back and ride you all the way to the swamp. This means LSU would move from 25 probably to 15 or 16.
But in the grand scheme of things for Kelly and his staff, new program, I think it puts them ahead of schedule.
Absolutely, because listen, let's be honest, not to get greedy, but if you beat Tennessee, then you darn sure want to go and take down Sun Billy in the swamp. Florida's been very shaky this year.
But then what it does is it makes you so you're on a much easier path to meeting expectations for one-loss record regular season.
Sure.
With
you
a
go
win.
to 5-1, and no disrespect to Florida right now, but I think we all know they need a mood ring right now. They're up and down. You go, are you kidding me? 6-1, and you're playing Ole Miss in Tiger Stadium. He has got the Tiger fan base in
I still,
you
want to talk about gauging people and people submit their picks every Saturday. What predict the order of the West? I mean, who could really nail that one down?
Well, I got a call from my buddy Jimbo Fisher, and he asked me, he said, can you please get people to quit picking on me? Yeah, look.
I was on with the Baylor guys today, the Sick'em 365. They do a great job on their YouTube show. And I had a little fun with Texas, of course. But, I saw Brando on with Crane and them and saying, well, they were giving him credit for saying all off season about how A&M wasn't going to be this and that, and he was taking heat. Well, I mean, you guys who watch this show every week, there ain't a week that goes by that I wouldn't been telling you since January that they weren't going to be anything. And lo and behold, where are they at now? I mean, they're wanting Jimbo to come out right now and say he's going to have a new offensive coordinator for next season, or they want to fire him.
Well, he does have an archaic offense, and he does need to give the play.
And he ain't going anywhere for a while, realistically. I don't care what kind of oil money they're talking about. I mean, it's $95 million now. What is it after next year? It's still what?
Yeah, I don't know the
85?
numbers.
I mean,
I will just tell you this, and we're going to connect the dots here real quick, and let's get to some more. But Jimbo Fisher, folks, was the offensive coordinator when Tennessee came in on the Monday night game. If you remember, it was on a Monday night because of the hurricane, 2 hurricanes in the same year. Mike, Jimbo told us at the SEC later on in Atlanta that year. He said, and maybe the next year, he said, yep, I called every play in that first half. You know who took over play calling in the second half in that Monday night loss? Les Miles. And I guarantee you Jimbo would admit that, and Les would probably admit that. But the bottom
Is that the
line,
game where they got in a fight in the locker room and Searles had to separate them?
I don't know if that was the one, but I do know that LSU.
There's a whole lot of, by the way, folks, there's a whole lot of former assistant coaches that took swings at Les.
Well, but my point is that there Jimbo was getting his play calling range taken away in that second half of Tennessee. That's a true story, folks. But my God, it's like Jerry Jones with the Cowboys and Jimbo until he gives some young guy.
See, here's the difference, and
Play calling.
this is where he's faltered. I think Jimbo would be an excellent CEO coach and the head of a program, but he is not adapted. And he what Saban did a decade ago in going out and finding hotshot young offensive coordinators to adapt to the changing game is something that Jimbo has not done. And that's his problem. And it's partly because he's an offensive coordinator and he don't want to give it up. Because by doing that, he's admitting that he's, not the guy, or he's not the guru that he's been billed to be since he was a younger coach.
And let's connect the dots here, folks. The jury is out. Brian Kelly came to LSU for a lot of reasons, but the main one was to win a national championship. And we know they love to have tight ends. We also know, like you alluded to, Nick Saban, when he was at LSU, you remember? With all of the clothes that everybody emulated, but he would tell Jimbo in the third quarter, don't pass anymore. We're going to shut it down. He realized you got to outscore people in this game today. But the question remains, and how long a learning period do you think this staff is going to get to learn the nuances of the SEC?
I don't see anything right now that leads me to believe that they're struggling with it. I mean, look, they could go on a streak here where it's not good, but so far I'm not seeing where. I mean, you beat Mississippi State, was favored. Did you pick Mississippi State? I did.
I did. Pick
Most people did.
No, I picked LSU to win by 3. Actually.
Okay, well, most people pick Mississippi State. He goes on the road and beats Auburn. Most people believe if they played Southern week 1 and Florida State the next week, that would have been a win.
But Mike, it takes time to learn the nuances.
But let's see what happens when you go to Tuscaloosa and next year, and you go to Fayetteville this year, in the swamp. But I'm not seeing where there's anything that's like a red flag.
No, it's too early. But this is going to be the first time he's going to the swamp with LSU. This was the first time going to Auburn. My question and connecting the dots.
Well, I'll put Jordan Hare above the swamp. The swamp hadn't been what it used to be.
No, I understand that. But my point is can Brian Kelly, with his offense, win a national championship at LSU? And we're going to find that, and that's going to.
Well, that's my worry. When he has a full complement of the tight ends he likes, what is that? Is the offense all of a sudden start to look like something we've seen before?
The greatest thing about recruiting is that Les would run that same stuff. And how many times would you and I say, Mike, if they keep calling the same plays on offense, they're not going to recruit any receivers. And I'll be darned if they didn't. But they do have to get more running backs. I'm a big believer.
By the way, guess who they're mentioning is to be an OC at A&M?
Who?
Brady. Joe Brady.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that. I did hear. Joe Brady it doesn't want to recruit. He doesn't want to sell his soul to an 18-year-old.
No. And is the luster off of him? How bad is the luster off of him?
I just think he's a better fit in the pros. He's doing a good job now with the pros. But, hey, back to this crowd, Mike. Have you interacted with many Tennessee fans? And, look, I'm not.
I have not.
I'm not trying to play peacemaker here, but I'm going to just give you a little hint, folks. One of my buddies is a big Tennessee fan, and he literally called me up during them running baseball and asked me if that was the greatest college baseball team ever. I said, Terry, you guys have not won a national championship. You're putting the cart before the horse. So we know what happened. Notre Dame beat them in the Super Region and go to Omaha. Now they're into the football. Tennessee fans want to look into the camera and say, we're back and we're relevant and we're coming in there because we watched LSU and we're better than you. And that LSU fan base is going to say, yeah, well, let me tell you what, when you mess with a wounded tiger, come get some of this. And so that's what we're looking at. The fans are going to have a lot of interaction because the Tennessee people are going to yap. And even though it's an early kickoff, that challenges the LSU fan base. Now you got Hooker and Daniels. Now you got these two teams in the top 25. I mean, this is what you live for, man. This is why we love the SEC.
I'm just now realizing Rocky Top. You don't want to hear that too many times Saturday.
I will say this. I was going to play it on the show, but I just can't play it because I can't stand it.
God. Is that the most annoying song, in the, chant or song in the SEC? What's worse?
When you go to Floribama and have three bushwhackers and you keep hearing Sweet Home Alabama every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
After those bushwhackers, that gets on your nerves.
PCG says, Jimbo is going to set the record for transfers out. I talked to an A&M guy today. And that's where the difference is these days, where all of a sudden you get viewed in negative light and you're no longer the cool program. You could have a whole bunch of kids hit the portal and just wreck you. And so that's something that they got to, he's got to keep recruiting that entire roster, because if they're not happy and they're not the cool kids and that they think they are, and that is a worry.
Hey, when you were asking about what a win would mean for Brian Kelly, obviously we know LSU would go to 5-1, but now you got everybody on the team believing, you got the fan base believing, and you have this great class that you have coming in 2023, rubber stamping like Womack and all the other guys saying, yeah, this is where we want to come. Look, Trey Holly, all the local guys, this could be an incredible swing of momentum like you alluded to that could kick this thing up a notch as far as expectations. You beat Tennessee, regardless of how ugly or pretty it is. You go in and take care of Florida at 6-1, playing Motormouth, Lane Kiffin, and the Rebels. Man, we're talking about something special.
I think it's mainly, I'm an 8-4 guy. I've been 8-4, so I just think this win. First of all, you're getting beating a ranked team, this favored to beat you. A lot of fanfare with Tennessee right now. But it gives you that margin for error for one losses the rest of the way.
It does.
So, and it gives him a hell of a thing for a start to his career in the SEC. He'd be 3-0.
And look, Saban and Jimbo said this was the first big win. Now, look, folks, LSU is way past the stage. That was 22 years ago in 2000. But they're way past the stage of getting on the goalpost and bringing that puppy down. That was crazy.
TK and S says, I'm definitely worried about the type of offense he wants to run long-term in the SEC.
I think it's a legitimate question, Mike. And Nick had to learn it. That's what I was intimating. You've got to learn when to be aggressive, and you've got to know when to play conservative. And when you have up and downs with receivers and quarterbacks, and let's be honest, I didn't ask you, but nobody's talking about this. Will Campbell at left tackle, Emory Jones at right tackle, Mason Taylor at tight end. 3 true freshmen. They are taking their lumps, but can you imagine how good those guys are going to be in another year or two? You're building. It's still a rebuild, but man, if you beat Tennessee, now I think they even get even more recruiting success.
Yeah, Hal Jubin agrees with me that Rocky Top is the most annoying.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm seeing we're getting spam with all the porn sites tonight in the deal. So, guys, I'm trying to zonk them as quick as I can.
Are you kidding me? That ought to be on the Tennessee site. Hell, they got a hooker coming in at quarterback.
Yep, there you go.
Hey.
Did you like the LSU baseball schedule? The LSU baseball schedule, home slate's going to be really good. Speaking of Tennessee and
yeah,
Vitello and Alex Box, boy, he's going to get the business, I think.
Oh, man, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
I would have I would have liked to have seen the South Carolina women's team in basketball be in the PMAC next year.
Those days will come. I mean, that was a hell of a game last year. I watched every second of that LSU women's game against South Carolina, and LSU and Kim Mulkey were so out-talented, but that was a heck of a game.
Von Bluesman says NIL is going to have some guys bound by contract, though. Not everyone can transfer out. I don't know that NIL locks you into it's a deal where usually those things are written as long as you're in a program, you get the money. You know, if a guy says, hey, I'm interested in coming to your school, this is what I'm getting, I mean, it just picks up.
No. Quinn Evers, as a high school player, they couldn't get money in NIL, so he goes to Ohio State and gets $1 million. He comes back to Texas and gets $2 million. So if you leave a place, the next destination, you're not going to go to some place that pays you less. You're going to go to some place. And with this transfer portal.
This is basically real world.
Yeah, sure.
It's like anybody else that leaves one job for another.
Yeah.
These guys are professionals now. Absolutely. But yeah, Creek Dwell says there are things in the contract. And a lot of them are different.
Yeah, but Mike, I don't think legally you can bind a kid to
No, you
stay
can't.
at a school if you, as we know.
Ben Thrifton, will heat and humidity be a factor given the speed pace that Tennessee likes to play with an offense? 11 a.m., what's the weather going to be? What 70, 75, 80?
Probably 70 to 75 at kick, and probably 80 to 82 at 3 o'clock when that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we've been dealing with all week.
Everybody knows about the side and the sun and your sunblock and all that, but look, just remember.
Yeah, if you sit on the east side, bring your sunscreen.
They are opening the gates and selling beer at 9 o'clock in the morning. So as we alluded to, LSU is well aware. They've got to get a majority of that crowd in there for 11:07.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we got in here. What do you think of the line and the way it's moved? What does that tell you?
I know one thing. I'm not smart enough to make a living betting on football. And
Is
guys, that line is coming down, Mike.
Right.
That line was, we thought that line would go up. That line is coming down, and Vegas has some pretty nice cars and property. They know what they're doing so that ought to tell you right there. Now that, look, they're not going to get every line.
I think Matt House is a bigger key to the game than a lot of people think.
I agree. I think
he might be more important than everything we're talking about Jaden Daniels.
Sure.
And not just him, Jamar Kane, all of them, and of course the players. But the defense is going to have a big, they're going to be a challenge to want to stop them.
Hey, want to see another BJ performance like that, man. 2 sacks and the hurries, and I am expecting 18 is going to have 2 things happen to him on Saturday for about 4 hours.
Jackson Miller, I think we see the alphas come alive this Saturday on defense versus Tennessee.
But they're going to hold 18, and they're going to double him. And so Matt House is going to have to find a way to free him up, Mike.
Absolutely. Let me scroll down. Let me see if we get a few more of these before.
Although we are doing 2 hours tonight.
Yeah.
Just kidding, folks.
Chick Drummer making it into the wire. She says defense is their weakness and it's our strength, and she types it in all caps.
Hey, Chick Drummer.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm taking that one off the screen.
All right, can me and you give a Chick Drummer a promise? Somebody told me about Jack Marucci is now getting ready to make drumsticks.
Yeah, well, you don't want to get in that market.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is I will get her some new drumsticks from Jack Marucci if LSU beats Tennessee. Come on, how much could a pair of drumsticks cost?
Well, maybe she just plays bongos. Maybe she doesn't even have a drum set.
Well, here's a drummer. So let's hope that everybody's beating the drum in a positive way about 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Guys, go to TigerBait and subscribe. We got a lot coming your way. Tell you each and every week you can try us out for $1. when the show's over with, go subscribe. Try us out for $1. You get our text alerts, our newsletters. Got another newsletter, I think, either going out tomorrow afternoon or Friday. And so we want to have you a part of our TigerBait community. I'm on the Tiger Den message board day and night. Got a lot of great posters there, and I think you'll really enjoy the website. Put up some video or this afternoon on Caden Jones, the offensive tackle from De La Salle. Go check that out. He's one of the guys that we were kind of talking about as far as a handful of Louisiana prospects that maybe that you would consider to take a flyer on. Go check out his exclusive video that we shot Friday night and see what you think. So, all right, guys, thanks for everybody for tuning in. We had a great show tonight. Hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell. Post-game show, I'm guessing around 2:30, 3 o'clock. Was that about right?
No, it's not going to end until 2:30.
Post-game show, 5 o'clock?
No, 11 o'clock kick, so 2:33, you'll probably be on about 4, huh?
Probably about 4:30.
4:30?
Yeah, as early as we can.
Well, and look, my last thing to say is, fans, you're going to the ball game, bring your A game. Act like this means something to you. I know some of you are going to get shafosed and be silly, but if you really care, you need to give that team your support. We know they haven't played perfect, but seriously, they're going to be challenged by the Tennessee fan base. Don't punch any of these moonshine drinking hillbillies because, as you know, they're talking the yap. But be confident, bring your A game, and believe in your football team. And they could be an impact player. You got to finish the game, and we know Hooker is going to put a lot of
He's
pressure.
fantastic.
Matt House, if he shuts him down, LSU could win this puppy.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button, share, and we'll see you guys Saturday afternoon.